be looking at interdependence between different role players in an economy. So in any economy, there is 4 role players. You have firms, households, the foreign sector, and the financial sector. Your firms are the ones that are producing in an economy. Your households are the owners of your production factors. And the foreign sector is your exports and your imports, and your financial sector is your middleman, the banks, Sanlam, Old Mutual, Signia. It is your financial middleman. Now, on the other side of the coin, you have your factor markets and your good markets. Your goods markets is your market of your goods and services, and your factor market is the market of your production factors. And now we're going to look at what is the relationship between the two markets, the factor and the goods market, with relationship to the role players, your firms, your households, your foreign sector, and your financial sector. So let's see. So first you have your firms, and then you have your households. You have your goods market, and you have your factor market. So your firms provide goods and services to your goods market, and the goods market produces or gives goods and services to your household. In return, your households provide to your factor market your production factors, and your production factors get supplied to your firms. But there needs to be a payment exchange between these role players and the different sectors. So your firms will spend, or expenditure will spend on your factor market, which will generate an income for your household. Remember, the factor market is the owner of your production factors. For instance, let's take labor. You are labor. Now the firms are paying you. They are spending. They are paying you for your labor. And that in return generates an income for you as your household. So what are you going to do? You're going to take that income and you're going to spend it again on your goods market to provide goods and services for your family and your household. And in return, that spending generates income again for firms. And then smack bang in the middle of all this is your government. So whether you are a firm or whether you are a household, you need to pay tax for the government. In return, the government do supply government goods and services to us. Right, so government goods and services are provided to us by the government, to the firms and to the household. Then the government do spend. So the government spends government expenditure on your goods market and on your factor market, and in return gets goods and services as well as production factors. So that is the linkage between the different sectors. But let's see what it looks like if we add the foreign sector. So again, you have your firms and your households. And there's this relationship constantly going on, spending or expenditure and income between the two role players. And then now you here have the rest of the world. And two things can happen. Money can flow to and from. So yeah, you can see it's money flowing from our cycle to the rest of the world. That is payment for imports. It's for your imports. It's money flowing out of the country, payments for imports. And this is payments for your exports. It's money flowing from the rest of the world into South Africa for all the goods that we have exported. Right. Now we're going to sum everything up into one big diagram, and then we're going to add the financial sector as well. So we have firms and we have households. And then we said there's this constant flow and relationship between the two. Money flowing from and to. Expenditure and income, expenditure and income. And also, what happens is not just expenditure and income, but if we use expenditure, we are consuming. Right? Consumer goods and services is rotating between these two. Now, in the middle, we have the financial sector. And the financial sector invests in firms, and firms saves in the financial sector, and also households saves. You put your savings into the financial sector. Now we have again the rest of the world, and two things can happen. We have imports. Remember, that arrow shows outwards, meaning it's money flowing from the sector out. You need to pay the rest of the world for the imports that is coming to our country. And then money flowing inwards, that is your exports. Other countries are paying us for our goods and services, so it's money flowing from South Africa to South Africa. And then lastly, we have the government. And government expenditure is an injection into the economy, and then taxation that we need to pay is a leakage. So besides from summing up everything in this graph, you need to identify which factors is an injection into the economy and which is a leakage. So you can see an injection is your exports. An injection is your government expenditure going into the economy. Investment is an injection. A leakage is money flowing from the cycle. So you have savings. Although savings is good for you, but it's not necessarily good for the country because it's money flowing out of your pocket, not into the economy, but into a bank account. So savings is a leakage. Imports is a leakage. Taxation is a leakage. It's money flowing out of the business cycle and out of the cycle of economics. So that is it. That is chapter 3.